She's tolerable, I suppose, but not handsome enough to tempt me, and I am in no humor to give consequence to young ladies who are slighted by other men. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. Sorry this is out just a little bit later, folks. I have had to do a couple different takes on it because of technical issues, and I'm putting in my hours this time. Boy, a lot of hours. That being said, we'll hopefully get this right this time. We're doing the second match instead of the first this time, folks. And not because... So I did lose in that one. You guys can go watch the gloriousness of that fight if you want on Twitch. I'm a partner over there, which means that I have an extra amount of time that my live streams stay up. And you can always watch that. It's found in the video description, the link. So go check that out if that's something that's interesting to you. That being said, we're also not going to be doing all GAC all the time on this channel anymore. I mean, a lot of GAC still. I love it. We are going to be moving on from only doing GAC though, because there are people who like other aspects of this game, and so do I. And this channel has the foundation of GAC. I love it. I do love it, but we can't do it all the time, or that's all we'll do. So that being said, this is also an interesting match because my buddy Arsenal is facing me, and he's been live with me a few different times on the Gambit Fight Night, which this actually is coincidentally Fight Night. So what we ended up doing, we did something strange. So the format of this video is going to be strange. What happened was Arsenal did his first few attacks on my front zone and cleared that. Then I went live and attacked his front zone and a few of his other teams, and then I raided, which is like sending all the people who are watching my channel on Twitch to a different channel. We raided the Gambit Fight Night, which is my podcast channel, of course, but we do Fight Night every Friday. You guys can go check that out. Of course, and we always have a guest. This time our guest was Arsenal, and he's been on a few times with us, and so then we went back and forth on our fights until we came to a conclusion. You don't want to miss the fleet segment of that, folks. It's pretty good and everything. So let's get into it. Here's the situation. Facing Arsenal. He used to be in Hot Ski Patrol with me. Hot Ska Patrol. We both like ska, apparently. Or maybe he's just likes Ma. He's in Vanguard now. He's abandoned me. He's a dirty traitor. We're both in the top 50 group, though of course we both lost our first match, which means one of us is going to get kicked out of top 100 for a while, and the other one is going to have the privilege to face someone truly crazy, because the whole group that we're in is insane. I never knew so much red existed in the whole galaxy. He has an advantage on almost every single level, and it's not okay. So here's the defense I have. I have one Galactic Legend on defense, and the rest I kept for offense because it's good to have some good flexibility in 3v3. That is the name of the game, is flexibility and versatility, and that's what we're trying for here. And that's what you get. I did have Mothra on defense. It makes me uncomfortable, but the idea being he might use his Wampa or Iden team on my Commander Luke team up front, and then not have them available for Mothra and have to use something awkward. My opponent placed a Dark Side Teemo on the bottom and a light side zone on the top, so two very thematic zones. I think that this serves his purpose pretty well. I don't know if that was an intentional thing or if it just happened to happen that way. However, he does a few things of note on this particular zone. He has grit on that Iden team, which means she's more resistant to certain counters than others. When I attack it, I'll talk about it more. His Lord Vader has the Mastery Datacron, which is 4% mastery for every debuff he inflicts, which adds up pretty quickly, and a really fast Thrawn, like 340, so 380 speed after the Lord Vader lead. And then that Darth Revan team with a Relic 9 Malgus is pretty scary. He's a thick boy. With a Datacron, he's at 84% armor, which is just bonkers. He's all like 70-something% is crazy. 84%, I mean, You barely do damage to the man. It is completely insane. Here's the top zone. The only team that, I mean, they're all scary, but the one that I want to point out here is that Old Ben team, because Old Ben gives 15% dodge. The Datacron gives another 32% dodge. And then, of course, Jedi Training Rey is giving herself a bunch of dodge from her mastery. And every time you miss against them, they gain 30% turn meter. It's a pretty scary team, and I was not sure how I was going to confront it. You guys will have to check it out. All that being said, just want to remind you, if you want to support the channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, comment, all those things on this channel. Please help me mount the algorithm before it mounts you. Trust me, you do not want to be here when that happens. Now, my opponent did attack. He had perfect banners. He'd only dropped like 4 total against my really tough teams up front until he hit General Skywalker, and he failed a couple times. Apparently, he told me he tried to use Starkiller on it, and he failed. Then he tried to use Wampa on it to clean it up, and failed that. So then he had to use a Galactic Legend anyways. I don't remember which one he used to clean it up, but it ended up giving me a little bit of wiggle room to start with my attacks. And with that said, folks, let's get to the actual, for real, fighting. Okay, this is actually not the start of it. Hold on one sec. Here we are. So what you saw was the next fight. This is actually a live segment here, folks. All the other retakes that I've had to do have everything kind of in a weird order. But we've got to take out this Lord Vader team before anything else. And even though I have 5 Galactic Legends for offense, the Datacron that he's got makes me feel nervous about trying to counter this team with anything other, with any of them. Because, like, for instance, he alone, even without ads, is going to solo all Jedi Master Kenobi teams, almost. And so I decided to use this Fennec team because with the BAM Cron that they have, it's perpetually renewing his cooldowns, he's able to keep her alive, and hopefully we can at least kill the ads. If we can kill the ads, then we can clean up Lord Vader with, like, Rey or something. So this is a semi-planned 2-shot, or you know, it's like if I do fail, that's okay. We're potentially 2-shotting it. Anyways, we have those plans. So let's get into the actual fighting. Hope you enjoyed this live segment, and I'll talk to you once it's over with. Let's get us going here, shall we? Okay, no poop stance. Repeat after me. No poop stance. None of that. None of that nonsense. Alright, depending on Thrawn's fracture and how quickly Lord Vader starts going, this could get rough real quick. Let's see interested to see who he's going to fracture first. Bam first, okay. What is interesting. I already don't love this, guys. Really need, oh my gosh. Really need, okay, she got a contract at least. That's good. Oh my gosh. Well, Bam's gonna go next. Is that right? I hope. I don't think we can kill Thrawn here, but yeah, well, because there's the fracture. Yeah. Oh my gosh, guys, this is not good. Not good. Hopefully we can kill Thrawn before we die at least. Okay, well, we killed Thrawn at least. Let's see if we can kill Royal Guard. See what we can do. See what we can see here, folks. And I'm not overly optimistic here, to be honest. At least we got 1 armor shred on him. Like that was good at least. Okay, we have to do this because of the shred. Let's see. Okay, so there's that 1 armor shred, I think, is gonna have to be it for us, folks. For this. Okay. Well, we'll just keep trying, I guess. This once he hits ult though, it's basically over. Like that's essentially it. Like, come on. Oh, come on now. We got to do this. We gotta do this. Come on. Oh my gosh. Woo! Ah, that's so stupid. Oh, that was good. All right. Bam who? Ah, that was funny. All right. All right. So we got through that, and now we're straight into this Iden fight here, folks, and decided to use Wampa here. Now, note that they have the grit buff on them, which could also actually give turn meter to, like, Imperial troopers. If that's something relevant, you can get an extra 10% turn meter right off the bat with them, which makes them a lot faster. And in 5v5, that's going to be very interesting to see how that impacts things. That being said, what ends up happening is there's a few things. First off, they have the grit buff, which means they do the dots that Wampa is generating do less damage. They also don't have any protection. It's all in their health pool instead. The difference here, guys, is if Wampa can manage to kill him, you can see that that shore trooper there does not have. Oh, and now we're fast forwarding because once we kill range, it's quite the slog. But you can see that the grit is gone now, so they can actually take damage from the damage over time. It didn't work at first. The dots aren't actually doing anything, but gosh, this is such a slog. I'm guessing I need to look at his modding. I'm wondering how fast his Fennec or his Iden is. And dear Lord, did you see? I thought I misclicked. We're in an emulator program. I thought that I just exited it out. I was like, oh no, but I just minimized it for a minute. She's so close to taking him out. Just ramping up damage. We only have 2 minutes left, though, and she keeps looping her awesome buff. And I don't know if grit is worth it, or if maybe it would be even more worthwhile to Iden if she had the cooldown reduction one. So she could just spam her 2 abilities, her mass assist and her revive. I don't really know, but we eventually get there. Just barely, thank goodness. Now we're going to use Traya against this Grand Inquisitor team. Remember, he's got all the datacrons for all the things, so I think this one has the cooldown reduction one. Hit that 7th or the 9th sister there to dispel the buff, just because we want the cooldown reduction on Nihilus, so that we can do another force drain, or whatever it's called. Get isolate onto 9th sister. Remember, there's also, 7th sister just died of sadness, essentially, and then we were able to get so much turn meter for Nihilus, and also his health pool is crazy huge at this point because of all the debuffs that have been happening to Traya and Sion. And now we're just playing with our food a little bit, trying to, eventually we want to do an annihilate or something, but we want to make sure that Sion can get his protection boost up, because my opponent, the thing is, Arsenal is also an efficiency player. We need to get every single banner possible. I'm not an efficiency player, to be clear, but a lot of players I've been facing lately have been, and especially in 3s, we need to get every banner we can, so we did end up doing that. Now, we beat 3 teams without Galactic Legends. We can probably spare 2 Galactic Legends for the last ones, and so that's what we're doing. Supreme Leader Kylo, even with all the armor and stuff, he's not going to succumb. Mine's Relic 9 anyways, so in 3s this works. In 5s, I would not take just Kylo. He would get pulverized, but we got the win there, thank goodness. And now Malgus, remember, with his Datacron and Relic 9 with a huge health pool, he does a crazy amount of damage. It also looks like he does more damage than he actually does against Rey, because she has almost no protection. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, she's almost dead. And I'm like, well, it looks like that for sure. And, she could die or something here. But at the same time, she is health. That's what she's comprised of. I was trying to figure out, I didn't want to give myself damage immunity right then, not yet, and I did. Probably ended up working out fine. I got the whirlwind and killed Sith Empire Trooper here. And now, I guess we'll go into our ult. This won't kill Malgus. He's just too thick. We don't have our cool, awesome ult anymore from set 1. That has been gone. We've replaced it with dodge, folks. Are you happy? And now we got to take out Malgus, who, with this Datacron, he's just ridiculously strong in GAC. I'm very interested to see what the real Malgus looks like in 3 months. Or 2 months, whenever set 3 goes away. I guess just 2 months. And just trying to figure out how we can survive until we get to our ult. He has such a huge health pool. He's got some bonus protection, but then just about half of his health, and a whirlwind doesn't even finish him off. He's just a tanky mofo. Our ultimate did manage to do it. I do miss set 1 for Rey. She was so fun when she could do a crazy huge ult. I really do kind of miss that. Alright, we got through that front zone, and you can see our scores. I am ahead of Arsenal by 23, but that means I'm one blunder away from basically having the same score. Now, I kept Malak here because I didn't really have a great team for him, and I was like, man, so people like to put Padme teams down. Maybe I can actually find a Padme team that I can just destroy here. In solo. The problem is, so first off, Arc has a crazy high health pool, or offense pool, I should say, and Padme has a really crazy high potency, especially with the Datacron that she has, and that means that she's always going to be able to stun my Malak, and they just gunned him down. Poor unfortunate soul. He just got slaughtered. And so now we're back to basically even. One of the ways to fight tilt, folks, is to walk away from the team that you just lost to. Just don't mess with it anymore. And therefore, I'm using dash here against these Tuskens because he gets the bonus turn. He has the Datacron that lets him take bonus turns every time your opponent takes a turn. And so we're able to we killed one of the Tuskens. We have to kill this one. We have to take out the other Tuskens before we can take out this Tusken. Otherwise, he's just going to revive forever in perpetuity. And eventually, though, Dash is going to get a turn where he can do another AoE and hopefully just take out the whole team, which in fact he did. Vandor got the counter there, and deuces, got him out. And now, gosh, I'm like, man, we can't afford to drop anything else, because Arsenal has 5 Galactic Legends. When we got to the back zone, no Galactic Legends back there. We've got to be efficient here, and we've got to not fail. And this Commander Luke team is very impressive. He has it very well modded, and so I decided to use Jedi Revan here because I was guaranteed, even if they killed one of our characters, I was guaranteed a savior move, which I got. We were able to get the stun off with Jedi Knight Luke, and then of course he has the cool Datacron, so we just kept going. Now this is the new Theridian team, guys. Let's use Vader with the cooldown reduction Datacron that everyone is, so hot to get right now. We don't have a level. I think maybe we do have a level 9 for him as well, but I don't know how impactful that specific level 9 is. That being said, we took out Arc Trooper right away. This is apparently a much better move than using Malak. And we got the fracture on Padme. We can control the team a little bit better now. Wrecker's tough to kill or tough to get through, but what I really want to do though is we want to just stall. We're going to play with our food a little bit here because I want Thrawn to heal himself. Heal his protection for one more banner. Because efficiency play, that's what I don't like about efficiency play, folks, honestly, is that we have to... if you drop one banner, you're like, oh no, like look, they just shot Gideon a couple times. Is that enough to take him out of the protection range? So I'm like frantically, okay, how can we not kill Wrecker? We need to get a heal from Thrawn here, and so I'm using all the half steps, and I'm like, finally, we gotta kill Wrecker. When we did actually have the protection bonus anyways, or banner, so it's just irritating. I don't like efficiency. Okay, so here's where we transitioned, folks, to 3v3, we were in 3v3, into the Gambit Fight Night. So Arsenal's in the middle, I'm on the top, and Solo's on the left. You can't hear us do our commentary, of course, and we've sped everything up. I have to take 2 more teams out before I can use Galactic Legends and Starkiller. And after just really struggling to figure out what I want to do. Okay, so just do a basic. This is my attack, by the way. Do a basic to get tenacity down on Echo. I decided to take Ackbar because he has a cleanse, because they do so many debuffs, and because there's bonus attacks involved as well. And I just barely managed to do that. That was pretty close. Relic 8 on Han has been really helpful, actually. It's noticeably different. Now, this is an attack by Arsenal. He's decided to attack my Mon Mothma team. And with Vader, he's got the cool Thrawn and everything. Look at how close Gideon is. If he wasn't so high relic, you can see me on the top. I'm like, no, please just kill Gideon. And I have a crazy high tenacity, though. And so when he did his AoE, he didn't land any debuffs on me. Because I've really focused on putting a lot of tenacity on my team. And so Vader doesn't have an endless loop anymore, which is fantastic. That's really good. And Cara Dune is wonderful on this squad just because, well, against Empire, I should say, because when she does her AoE, she auto-stuns the whole team. And eventually, once we killed Vader, Arsenal had to back out, which was great. Now he's going to, this is Arsenal as well, attacking my sortie squad with his General Grievous. And I was actually like, oh man, I kind of hope this works, because Grievous is kind of a worthless sack. This would be a nice team to be able to use, actually, in 3v3 for Grievous. Like in 5v5, I always find a use for him, or usually I find a use for him. In 3v3, it usually just sits on defense. That being said, it's not looking great for his Grievous team, actually. I killed B1, and then I haven't lost anyone, and yeah, there we go. So he also killed B2 there, and then now it's just Grievous versus Sortie, though, and probably you give the nod to a Relic 8 or 9 Grievous over a Relic 7 Sortie, but, I mean, they still gave him a run for his money, and 50 banners. I mean, he dropped 7 banners there. That's not too bad. Not too bad for either of us, I guess. He gets a win, and I get him to drop more banners. So this is the last one that I need to do before I can just start using Galactic Legends and Starkiller. And I had my First Order team lined up. I was like, okay, we'll get Hux and First Order TIE Pilot, and we'll probably kill at least everyone but Nest. And then I decided, you know what, I have GL Nute here. We may as well try to get this to land. Because this old Ben team isn't one that typically would beat a GL Nute team, and I was like, let's just try it. They don't have much offensive power. Like, they'll build up to it, but it's mostly just a timeout team, kind of, with all the dodge. Remember, they're all at least, I think they're at 47 dodge minimum. One thing that I will point out, though, is I did find a Datacron. I applied a Datacron that gets all of my guys up to, I think, 40% crit or physical accuracy, which meant that I could get rid of his dodge for the most part. Obviously, that doesn't do anything against Foresight on Rey, and that could be a huge problem because she takes a lot of turns. Every time we miss her and everything, she's going to be gaining turn meter and everything. And she dispels all of her debuffs. She's problematic, but I did manage to finally get a big rocket to her face. We got 56, so hooray for that. He decided to use BAM with IG and Kuiil against my Bossk team, which at first you'll see he's got the Mega Nuke Datacron on him, which means he can do like 20 times the damage or something like that. I forget exactly how it works, but this kills Galactic Legends pretty nicely. That being said, in 3s it's harder to get more stacks, and he didn't hardly do any damage at all with his like 5 or 6 stacks that he got. And it's looking pretty good for my Bossk team, actually. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is promising. I wonder if he's even going to clear me. And I mean, it's a really well-modded team, though, and I'm not doing any damage to him, really. And the problem with that is I'm also this isn't a building team. My team won't eventually like ramp up to eventually kill things. It just sticks around and does what it does until someone stops it. This time though, he's getting all the whistling birds, so I talked him into doing a 1x speed just to show, and it just melted the whole team. You can see we're all laughing about it up top. Like it was kind of fun. I mean, even as I want to win, I've always been able to admire when my opponent does something cool. You know, just a byproduct of how it goes. And you know, he done good. So we're using Starkiller here on this Radis team. And the idea is, okay, we're hitting Jin here not because we want to do damage. I mean, obviously we want to take her out, but we have to take Radis first. But I wanted to trigger her stagger that she had. All right, killed AdRad, killed Jin, and now the question is, can we get our Star Destroyer of healing? And so we got to play with our food as much as we can. We don't want Baze to die yet. We want Starkiller. He's kind of close to being able to do his. So if Baze survives this hit, then I would immediately be able to do the Star Destroyer. He didn't survive, and I told Arsenal, I was like, dude, you need to put more relics on him moving forward. That's for next time, so that I can get more banners. But now he's using his dash team on my Radis squad, and he's got the cool bonus turn dash team as well. So every time my characters take a turn, he gets to take one as well. It killed my K2 real fast. Just destroying us. He actually, Arsenal made his Landino Relic 8 because he watched a video of mine doing the same thing. Just gunning people down with no apologies in 3v3. One thing to note with these dash teams though, guys, when they do the AoE on Radis, he gains like 9 exposes. It's ridiculous. Okay, I only have GLs left you have 3 teams left to take out, so only using GLs. And the Ezra team with the Ezra Datacron can do a crazy amount of damage from Ezra. However, not if we just have riposte and just take him out, because Basti gives a ton of bonus health, or bonus protection, but if we can hit with riposte under that health, under that protection and just hit health, Ezra doesn't have a huge, crazy health pool. And so just one-shot him. It's pretty sad. Okay, this is Arsenal attacking my Shaak with Bad Batch. And look at how much momentum we started with. We were doing really good. And then of course eventually one of them got a turn without ability block, and that just kind of put a damper on everything, because then Jedi Knight Luke's lead is good enough that it dispels all the debuffs, it heals everyone, and I mean, it reduces my speed, it gives Luke a bonus turn, and he's got the Datacron to get a bunch of bonus turns, and it's just gone all to hell. So the question is, can he get more banners off of this than just his 55? Looks like we made him drop another 2, which is good, because I'm dropping banners here and there as well. And it's a mess. Now he's trying to get down to just 2. I have 2 squads left I have to take out, and he's kind of been behind this whole time because I did my attacks earlier, and then we've just been going attack for attack, and you know, he's had a couple fails and stuff as well, or maybe just one. I don't know. But okay, he's using his Kenobi with Cat here against my Padme team. I'd really been hoping to see how my Padme team did against something that wasn't the best GL in the game. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, right? So one thing to note is that we both cheesed fleets. We both kept Profundity and Executor for offense. You don't want to miss our fleet time, though, guys. It's actually fairly fun. Now, he's using Hux. Remember, my Mothra team is very fast, with Kyle Katarn being kind of quick, and then they have the turn meter gain. But Hux shuts that all down because he starts with advantage, and he just doesn't allow turn meter gain. They gun down Kyle Katarn real fast, and then look at how close Cara Dune is to death. She was in the deep red. And then she came back, Mothra revived Kyle Katarn, and then he de-revived the First Order TIE pilot, and I mean, at this point, Hux doesn't even have advantage. He's not stopping anyone from gaining turn meter. Oh, there he is. He's got advantage now. But Red Trooper has been stopped from being alive, which is great. And Arsenal was forced to force quit. So we got another fail on Mothra, and I was feeling pretty good about that. He decided to take Fennec against Grievous. So we have an interesting thing where his Grievous did a surprisingly good job against my sortie squad, and then my Fennec did a surprisingly good job against his Lord Vader squad, and now we get to see these two teams face off against each other. I did kill Zam already, and I think, so there, it doesn't look like it, but Grievous has a tiny bit of protection. Otherwise, B2 would have been marked. Otherwise, I think Sion of Jango would have just one-shot Grievous, because he does extra damage against people with without any protection. But I did end up I got a win there as well. So Arsenal is attacking again against my Mon Mothma team. He's using Bossk with his two other, this is like the Bossk trio, the bounty hunter trio. Like this is to me the essential bounty hunter team. I know that I don't really use it that much these days. We've got all kinds of weird builds lately, especially with Datacrons and everything, but it's just an interesting situation here where he's taking on this Mothra team who can take a ton of bonus turns and everything, and we took off the cool Bounty Hunter's Resolve on Mando. He's got a weird situation here now. So they have their contract, but Mando doesn't have the buff that lets him disintegrate. He has to do a basic to be able to do that, or he has to do damage, I think. But he's got daze as well, which means you can't call him to assist. He has to do it on his own turn. So now he's just calling someone else to assist for fun, because they got their contract there. So now he has his buff that he needs to be able to disintegrate someone. He does not have Bounty Hunter's Resolve, and Cara Dune does have her taunt, which means he's trying to kill Kuiil, but he can't. He's not allowed to, so he kills Cara, because that's probably the wise move. You never know if you're going to get another turn against this team, and sure enough, Mando did not. Kuiil was able to WTF pwn him, and that is basically that for this fight. I mean, it goes on for a little bit longer, but I mean, I've had it happen before, I guess, where my Bossk and Greef were able to pull off something after Mando died, but for the most part, I mean, the ironic part is you don't really need anything more than like the Mothma team. You only have to kill one of the three that are here, and then the other two just keel over. And Kuiil Katarn isn't that tanky, but he does. The thing that people forget about Kuiil is he rams damage like crazy. That's one of the reasons I really want him to get Relic 8 as soon as I can, just because he hits so crazy hard and does so many awesome things. He's very stat hungry because of his crazy impact, and the bounty hunters felt it. Now, I decided to attack, even though I think he's still got 3 teams he's got to beat. I decided I should just attack, because I've got a big advantage in banners at this point, and we may as well just get kind of that part over and get to fleets. So I decided to bring Lord of Vader here, and I mean, this is a pretty nice luxury. Like, General Skywalker is tough to beat, but we should be able to. I mean, we've got, yeah. The question was Lord Vader or Sith Eternal here. Sith Eternal solos this pretty easy, but Lord Vader with Royal Guard, I don't think you absolutely need Royal Guard, actually. I've even in 5v5, Lord Vader generally is going to beat a fully relicked, like all Relic 8 and 9 General Skywalker team. But especially with the mastery stuff that Lord Vader can do. Or maybe I think I did his fast ult here, actually. I think I did that cron for him, so that he gets faster ults, as one might imagine from the title, faster ult. We got days on Skywalker in 3v3. I mean, I just decided Royal Guard is nice insurance here, and we'll still get high banners. Let's use Sith Eternal here. Now, this is Savage Oppress, obviously, but he's got a new Omicron for GAC, and he is actually, I think Arsenal got a ton of holds with this particular team in last match. Actually, sent me a message showing me so, like, he was showing me something else, but that was in the picture. I was like, oh man, Savage. And I watched it in action a few other places, and it's very impressive. It's a very impressive Omicron, actually, guys. I don't know. We put Link on him, so he's not doing crits, and we've got a Galactic Legend here with a fast ult, and I mean, really, this isn't a great opportunity for poor Savage to showcase his abilities, but I didn't really want it to. I didn't want to give him a good situation. That's not what I wanted at all, and therefore, let's just take out Sidious. He's kind of a thick boy here, isn't he? Taking a minute. But we'll get him. We'll get him. There we go. 57 banners. We even got perfect banners there. Nice. So I'm through to fleets now. He needs to clean up a few teams here. So immediately, without giving him a turn, Grievous is gone. Poor Blighter. And now he's going to so I did lose my last match, and it was, I failed a lot and everything. The thing was, I mean, if I'd been more efficient, I could have won, but my opponent couldn't clear me either. And this is the team. He tried 9 teams against it, couldn't beat it, but he did not try Rey against it, and I guess that means that we can. he could probably beat me here. This is a smart move on his end, because Maul did a surprising amount of damage initially, and so he did a whirlwind to kill Bo-Katan, because you never know if Rey's going to be able to do an ult and kill both characters. And so it was perfect timing, because she popped her ult right before Maul was able to get his frenzy in, and all of those attacks. It was, I think maybe Rey could have lost there if he had played it a little differently, but Arsenal's a very good player. He made a good decision there. One that I think a lot of people would not have made. And, I think I would have just popped my ult there, but he had the foresight to do a crit, or to do a whirlwind first, and it paid off. Now, he used GL Nute, kind of, here as well. Poor old Mothma kept taking turns, but she had everything on cooldown. And so Arsenal managed to take me out here. You can see I'm ahead by about 60 banners right now. So as long as neither of us, even if he's way more efficient, I'm going to win. So we decided to make it into a mini game where both of us attacking at the same time. Where the first person to clear the full fleet zone wins something, wins bragging rights. And so I'm on the bottom right, he's on the top left, and it's kind of fun. Both of us cheesed our fleet zones though, so neither of us have really good fleets down. This is the home 1 fleet. He has a full crow, or I forget what it's called now. The moldy crow, I forget now what it's called. The Kyle Katarn ship. He has a full 7-star one. So we put down his quote-unquote new Home 1 fleet. And it's actually, I decided to use Malevolence here just because the AI plays against Malevolence really poorly. And because I didn't know what to expect. I've never faced this, haven't barely thought about it since the Crow was released. But now that Profundity is here, this fleet becomes more relevant. And the idea is we don't need a ton of really crazy banners. We just need to get through and, hopefully in one piece and not just somehow fail to clear the ship zone. This fleet is a lot stronger than people have been kind of giving it credit for, I feel like. I was impressed with its initial output, though, of course, Malevolence. I don't know, someone recently said that Malevolence was the 3rd best fleet, and I a little bit agree with that, actually. Alright, so he's doing Profundity versus My Negotiator. I decided to do the same thing. And so even though we both have similar results, I think that mine ends up he ended up doing the mass he did the cleanse first with Profundity and then the mass assist later. I decided to try the opposite. Now I wasn't watching him. I wasn't like, ooh, you did one thing, I'll try to do this other thing. That's just how we kind of ended up doing it. Now he's way ahead of me. He's already a minute into a second fight, and I'm still just just plotting this. try and, I mean, I want to win the mini game that we set up, but at the same time, we've got to not be goaded into anything. At the end of the day, I want to win the GAC, not like the mini game is whatever. So let's do the mass assist right now, or lots of big hits, I should say, on Ahsoka. Just take her out as soon as we can, and then let's do the mass assist on Anakin as well to get him into stealth. And what that does is once we get profundity here, or once we get a turn with profundity, we can drag Anakin out of stealth and mark him instead. And once we do that, then we should be able to, then, even if they do have the cool loyalty buff on him, well, I don't know how cool it is, frankly, it's kind of annoying, but they have the loyalty buff, but that he can't go into stealth as long as he's got mark, and we can now just take him out. Goodbye. Very smooth. Let's just keep going, I guess. I mean, okay, so he's done with his second fight, and he's already into his third. Executor versus Radis. So you probably don't need to watch mine. Executor versus Radis. The interesting thing about that fight for him, and so my only reinforcement for Radis is the Millennium Falcon. And the idea is that sometimes, it doesn't always happen this way, but sometimes my Falcon can come in, it's the raised Falcon, and if she gets the twirl and she's in stealth, people aren't able to target her, and she's able to do a huge AoE, and it's very nice. And I mean, it's not designed to go against Executor, but the only times that Radis has ever come close to beating me has been when she did this drive-by here, and obviously couldn't kill these high relic characters. Like, I'm sure Arsenal has at least relic 8 on all of his pilots, and my pilots are just, pretty stock. So died, but I still stole a few banners from him. I mean, not the best, most amazing result, but I mean, it's just, it's my worst fleet against one of his very best fleets, and I still stole a couple. So it's worthwhile. He did get a clear. He got the full clear before I did. And now we've got Executor versus his Chimera. I did manage to take out his Vader's TIE Fighter before he got the taunt from Imperial TIE Bomber, which is nice. And, I mean, now, let's see. Oh yeah, so Shuttle came in instead of TIE Interceptor. And I don't know, people keep saying like, oh, you didn't place your TIE Interceptor in the right slot, but I think once you get a kill right away or something like that, then Shuttle can come in sometimes because the game perceives that you need more healing or something. Anyways, managed to get a lot of good banners, and I mean, no fails there, which meant that I got the win. The side-by-side fighting is pretty fun though, and now let's go to my final thoughts, shall we, guys? So we got the win, but I feel like I did get lucky on some points. Like that time that Cara Dune was in the deep red, it just like one little tiny thing could have really, changed things by quite a bit. And that's the thing. Like once you fail in 3v3, it just starts this cascading event, and he had that catastrophic thing against General Skywalker in the front zone, and that was about it. So even though I had a pretty decently higher score, I think it was a lot closer than you might think. His teams were very challenging for me to figure out, and so huge props to him for that. I don't know if fleets should be cheesed or not. I'm curious to see how this is going to end up. People put, like, if you put Profundity and Executor both on defense, then I think Profundity and Executor can counter those two with a fairly high banner count anyways. And so I don't know. It's nice to kind of just ignore fleets, to be honest. I don't know what CG is going to end up doing with this, or if that's going to end up being the truth. If that's just going to be how things are moving forward, we're just going to be able to kind of cheese our way through it. I'm not sure. I kind of like the idea of fleets being relevant, though, so I hope maybe we'll get Rogue, or maybe we'll get Red 5 or something and change everything up. Finally, folks, my group is so crazy. I'm facing Kine, I forget how to pronounce his name. He's a fellow content creator, and he's a really good player in the final match. And it's like you win one, you lose one, whatever. Like, Arsenal's in a fight against Silent Beast, who is also a really good player, and he's also a content creator. It's going to, like, this whole group is just insane. My original opponent, Travman, won his match. He's in the finals. Everyone in this group is really strong. And so if I can get out of this group, even with just 1 and 2, I'll be happy. I mean, I'm going to give Kian the hardest fight I can as well. That being said, folks, I'm going to call it good. Let me know what your thoughts are on all of this stuff. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xerath prevails.